time starting a Nissan Skyline. I'm so excited. Oh my god, this is so weird. So today, ladies and gentlemen, if you can't tell, I am in a Nissan Skyline R32, and I am having a very surreal feeling right now because this is my first time driving right-hand drive, and everybody in Europe and Japan is laughing at me right now because I'm kind of off to the side a little too much already. I'm also not used to having the stick shift in my left hand, so getting used to that too. This Skyline in particular usually comes with an RB20, but this one has a swap in it. It has an RB25. And the RB25 overall is a much better motor, in my opinion, and the owner David's opinion. David, if you guys don't remember, I did a cruise video a little while back, and he had a blue Subaru. But he sold the Subaru to get this awesome Japanese classic. Now that the R32 is legal in the States, we're probably gonna see them a lot more often than we used to. There was always under the table ways of getting cars like this here in the States, since the whole importing rules now, it has to be 25 years old. Now with these finally legal, it's good to see them driving on the road. But at the same time, it does make going through a drive-thru a little odd. Even though this car is practically all stock, I'm having like, I'm soaking in this experience right now. I'm basking in the glory of the Japanese classic. Another thing is everything is on the opposite side, which, you know, obviously for many countries isn't a big deal, but I'm used to having the blinker on my left hand, and just everything looks like it's a mirror image of everything. When I was riding in it earlier, you get so many double takes from everybody seeing the guy on the left side of the car not holding on to anything on the dashboard. And it's pretty funny to see people's reaction. This one in particular is not a GTR, it's a GTS-T, which means it's rear-wheel drive instead of all-wheel drive. David actually prefers this to the all-wheel drive model, and I mean, I can see that, especially because he also has a 240 as well. So it has much more of that rear-wheel drive finesse to it. Even though this is a pretty much stock car, it's such a joy to drive because it's just such a new experience. I know I'm never gonna forget this, and I really don't want it to end. This is such a great experience, and I can't wait to actually see what it's like on a nice, smooth back road. This one in particular also has a twin disc clutch in it, so it is a little bit heavy, but it's nothing bad. I could easily daily drive it all the time. David actually does not know how many miles are in this car, but so far it seems to be running really strong. The only thing that had wrong with it really was the temperature gauge, but that was it. I mean, that's pretty much a good price to pay. Also, the speedometer doesn't work, but I mean, when you're in a Skyline, you're like, what's a speedometer? The shifter is actually really nice in this. It feels like almost like an aftermarket short shifter, but it's not. It's no wonder why this is considered such a great driver's car, because you can just hop in it and you already have fairly good confidence behind the wheel. Dave, believe it or not, wants to keep the exterior stock to give it kind of that sleeper-ish look, even though it's already a Skyline, so it's not a sleeper, but he wants to mess with the motor a little bit. He doesn't want to go too crazy though. He just wants to open up the engine, let it breathe better, and whatnot, front mount intercooler, that sort of thing. So it'll be a nice, fun, daily driver kind of car. Now the steering on it is, it's kind of heavy, but it's not a bad heavy. It's not to the point of like you don't have power steering. It's just the right heaviness to it. It feels very analog, and it doesn't feel so artificial. I mean, obviously it doesn't feel artificial because it's an older car, but I think that's why a lot of people miss these days, of the nice simple 3-spoke steering wheel and not so much mumbo jumbo everywhere. The car is just focused. It's just it's a simple dashboard, it's a simple steering wheel, it's a simple AC unit. Everything's just focused on the driver. It's all about the experience, and so far the experience is swell. All right, open it up a little bit. God, that third to fourth transition is so easy. This truly is, ladies and gentlemen, a miles per gallon car. It's one of those cars where you don't even care that in a straight line it's not even that fast. It's almost like, I always say, like with the Miata syndrome and the S2000, it's just one of those cars that it's so fun to drive, you just don't care. Because here in America, it's really all about who has a bajillion horsepower half the time. It really is, and I think a lot of the times we forget just how fun it is just to have a somewhat stock car. I mean, it has a peace of mind, it's gonna stay together, all that sort of stuff. All right, a little bit of spool noise. All right, here's our S turn. So let's see how it does around the S turn. Obviously, I'm not gonna go too crazy because it's, you know, not my car. All right. Very, very planted. Wow, this car is so planted, guys. It's no wonder so many people praise it over the years. And thank God they're finally legal here in the US. Alright. And shutting down. I have no idea how fast I went because it, you know, speedo doesn't work, but you're so confident in this car. Like, it's one of those cars, like I always say, you could have a cup of tea and read a book in. You just have no worries that you're gonna make it around the corner. Second gear, third gear. Shoot, man. I can't stop smiling. I can't stop smiling. Right-hand drive feels so natural. I know, like, at first it seems so weird, but as soon as you just really get the hang of it, it's like you're driving left-hand. It's no big deal. Woo! I'm like speechless. I don't know what to say right now because I'm just enjoying the experience so much. David tells me that in order to get used to the right-hand drive, you kind of overly hug the right side of the road because you don't realize how much in the middle you are. I've made the mistake a few times today. This car also has four-way steering, which is very impressive, and it also explains why it probably hugs the corners so good. The only other car I've ever driven that also had four-way steering was my friend's Prelude, ironically. So, other than that, it's kind of an odd sensation when you think about it. Right, up the hill we go. Woo. It goes over bumps like it's nothing too. This has stock suspension still, so it does drive like a cloud in comparison to, say, coilovers. So we have a little bit of a corkscrew turn up here. All right. Woo-wee. Oh man, it's addicting. I could listen to this RB25 all day long. It's such a simple noise. It just has that little hint of turbo spool, and it's just enough to know what you're doing really when you go around a turn. It kind of communicates with you, talks to you. So right now we're on the highway, and what are my first impressions on the highway? It rides really smooth, but it is a little bit loud. The only thing is that the clutch makes a little bit of noise, and also there's a little bit of air, like leakage kind of sound, but I deal with it. Are you kidding me? For being a 1989, it's so well put together, and it has power everything. Like, you wouldn't guess that this car is from 1989, and it just shows that just how far ahead of the times the Japanese were for the 90s especially. The Skyline, especially of this year, is almost like a hidden gem because we're on this very busy road now and not a single person is really head turning, and that's because it's such an enthusiast car that so many people know about in the car world, but it kind of does look like a normal car among everything everything else. But until people get next to you and they see you in the right seat, they're like, something wrong. All right, guys, I want to thank you all so much for watching this video. I know I didn't have that much to talk about since the car is stock, but I just wanted you guys to be able to share this experience with me because it's definitely something I'm never gonna forget. I want to thank the other David very, very much for letting me drive his Skyline. I know that it probably wasn't easy to let somebody drive it. So I will see you guys next time, and take it easy.
There's one guy, he was in this big Chevy, he just started smacking his door and started yelling, Chevy! Chevy!
What?
Yeah, I was just like, alright, this
Next time David gets hate, all he needs to say is that he's an awesome mailman. Yeah, I deliver mail in a Skyline. It's a hard life. I would totally do that.